Hey guys, Cindy over paper.old.new. How you guys doing? Thanks for being with me. God bless you for being here. I am coming to you with another revisit. So we haven't gotten through them all yet. We are on 51 through 60. And we start off with, we affectionately called them, actually, you know what? Let me go back up a little bit. For those of you who are like coming into the middle of this little session, and you hear that I'm on 51 through 60 and you haven't seen the ones before this, I did a 100 days challenge, and what I did was Tina over at Shabby does 100 mass makes over the course of 100 weeks. So every week, I think it's on Thursdays, but I'm not positive about that. Don't quote me. She posts a mass make video where she shows you how to do a mass make and you decorate, and then she chats, and it's nice. I did her 100 weeks in 100 days. That was my challenge. And now I'm going back through and visiting them 10 projects at a time, and kind of based on my experience with crafting and what I learned that I like and what I've learned that I don't like, deciding which things I would mass make, which things I would probably just make as I went, depending on the project I was working on, and which things are probably not for me. So things that, while I think she did a great job making them, or other people might really like, they are not my taste, or I struggle to make them. So those would be the reasons I would probably not fuss with something. And we're all different, which is what makes the crafting community amazing. So without further ado, 51 was these little I called them mini masterboard cards. She created this formula where you take 3 pieces of paper that you can kind of put together in a sort of collage-y format, and you do half with one paper, half with the other paper, and then you stick a strip across the top or the bottom, or whatever. And you just you can use up ugly scrapbook paper that you don't like as your base. In this case, I used some scrapbook paper that I did some I call it mixed media. It was like I threw dye and bleach and all kinds of stuff at this paper, and just, this is how it turned out. And these, I think, turn out really cool. I mean, I did a whole bunch of them, as you can see, and you can do them in all different sizes, all different, like, I tended to do, you see a lot of these ended up being like tall pieces with a piece across the top. And then this one seems to almost have been divided, if that was cut in half, almost divided into quarters. And then you had some of these bigger tall ones. So we did a bunch like this. And I will say that I had some backs like this that were a bright blue, and with the fronts, I did not like them. So I glued them to coffee dyed paper earlier today. And we're going to cut these out, and I wanted to show you how simple one comes together if you are decorating one really quick, just because these little masterboard cards are probably one of my favorite things in this set of 10. I don't know that it's my favorite thing ever or my favorite thing that we did, but when you have this, you wouldn't look at it and go, oh, that's a perfect background to build on. But it actually is. It's like, it's funny the way it just works as like a collage-y, crazy background. It just works. And okay, now that one's got coffee dye paper on the back, and I like that a lot better than what was on there before. So I'm not going to cut all these out. I do want to cut out the one. I pulled some stuff here, and we're going to decorate this card. This was one of the ones that had the bright blue on the back, and considering the front, the bright blue and the front of this did not, it was from Rit Dye, and the bright blue, and then the what you see on the front here, and the pictures and stuff that I would associate with putting on this particular paper, they didn't they didn't feel like they would go in the same journal. Like the back of the card and the front of the card did not feel like they would go in the same journal. So I had to do something about that. Okay, so what we're basically going to do is I'm going to throw one of these together real quick, and you guys are going to be like totally amazed at how fast this goes together. So we're going to put this here on the, I'm going to get one of my silicone thingies. I don't remember a purple one. So we're going to use a pink one. We're going to put some glue down, and I'm not going to do any sewing, although you could. Although this has got like 3 pieces of paper. So I don't know. But that's not to say a heavy duty needle won't go through it. It's just I don't know if I want to torture my sewing machine that much. Okay. I feel like things just aren't built to last anymore. All right, so I'm going to put that on there, and then that's going to be a wraparound to our other side, and it's going to be a tab. So I'm not going to pull it all the way in here so that it takes up a lot of journaling space, but I'm going to put it on here like this, so it's like a side tab. Now, that's probably going to mean that this goes in a side pocket, but all in all, that's not a bad thing. Oh, and I forgot to get my ink. And of course, ink is a personal preference. You don't necessarily have to ink, but when I'm going for that kind of vintagey vibe, I like to. Okay. And like throwing some stitches up through there would be really cute. I would probably, and you could even just stitch on the tab part, which I might go and do later. Just throw some stitches on here and maybe stick a button or something on there, since it's going to be a tab and stick out. You know, release the pressure on my glue. Of course, I got this all set up. It would be standing up over there, and I could read from my little pad, and nothing would be in my way. And then I go and find ways to get in my own way. All right. So I'm going to put some ink on this. This is from a book that I got. See, it says White Star Line. This is a book that I got about the Titanic. This is a picture from there. So you can get pictures for ephemera from all kinds of places. Let's put that. And I want to put some of this sticking out on here. So I don't know if I want to go. Should I go all the way up? Kind of fill in the card. Maybe I'll go all the way up. I was going to do it just where the picture is, but maybe I'll go all the way up. No, you know what? We're just going to go up to there. And then I might put something up in this corner. You know me, guys, I love a button. That's so sad. Oh, my glue's oozing. I released the pressure and it's oozing anyway. All right. Okay. Let's get this down. Okay, this is going to be a little difficult because everything's real skinny on this. And gluing it is going to be kind of a tough call without making a mess. So I'm going to try and do it in pieces, I think. And hope for the best. So, like that. And that gives me an anchor point. And then we'll just kind of go from there. I'm going to go all the way down to the end of where I want to put it. And maybe now that it's attached, I can just do the whole thing at once. I'm going to go along this little edge. These are really thin, and then I'm going to do the middle of each flower. It's the only other really kind of solid spot. Anybody who tells you that Fabri-Tac doesn't string as bad as hot glue is lying. I didn't necessarily want this to stick off, but it is, so there we go. And I put glue on one too many of the flowers, but that's all right. We're going to cut this off. This is the only strip of this lace that I have. It must have been in one of those grab bags of trims and things that I bought, and that's all I got. Okay. So we have that on there like that. Okay, and then we're going to put this down. This is a piece of craft paper cardstock from a scrapbook paper pad. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's got all kinds of designs and stuff in it, but it's got furniture. It's almost like it's from some sort of a catalog, because it's got furniture, it's got sewing dummies, it's got knives and forks and chairs and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not sure what kind of what you want to call that, but that's what it is. All right, we're going to kind of put that catty corner on here like this. I remember when I was doing this, it does fit on there the way I want the Titanic picture. So I don't want to put that on there so that it's all the way on the postcard. I mean, all the way on the journal card. Okay, just like that. All right, and then we're going to put this on. I know. This is supposed to be a revisit. So in some of them, I like to pull something out and craft with you also, so that you're not just watching me flip through things that we already made once and, talking about them. So I like to try and do some crafting. Okay, so we're going to put that right there. The main place I'm worried about, it'll stick to all the paper, no problem. I really want to make sure that it sticks to the trim, because that's where it can catch, or whatever, is where it's lifted up some. And I want it to be over on the edge of the trim. So we have that, and then we're going to put this little piece on there, and I'm going to grab my button jar, and we're going to find something for that corner, and then this will be done. And we'll move on. Depending on how long it takes us to move through here, maybe we'll decorate something else, maybe we won't. If you ever look at one of these videos, the reason I reference the days is so that you can go back. If you are curious, you can go back to my playlist, which is linked in the description box, and find the day you're looking for. And it'll show you how to make the whatever it is. Get out this button jar. Oh, I don't like gluing down buttons unless my hot glue gun is on. So we're going to turn that on and let it sit right here. And I'm going to let that sit. Well, let's pick a button. And then if it's not ready, then, ooh. Not on there, but I like that button. Let's see. No. Is that another one? Ooh, I have a couple of those. Ooh, what about this? That's kind of cool on there. Oh, look, it's already hot. According to the light, it's hot. Okay, it needs a little more time. Okay, these are some of the other ones that I decorated. So this one isn't completely done, although it could be. I mean, I put a little thing up here, and this is flowers. My only issue with this one is it kind of blends. So I chose something on this background that kind of blends into the background, so it kind of blends in. I do that all the time. And then these two were others that you can see here. This was a big piece at the top, and then little pieces at the bottom. And you can see here, this is all decorated up with some vintage laces, and that's out of my ephemera kit. And then we did this one. Again, a button. You know me, guys. I love my buttons. And you can, I mean, it adds an interesting background, because when you look around the picture, even though you can't see most of the collage, when you look around the picture, there's different edging. So you've got the blue paper with the postage up here, and then you've got this green paper with the writing, and then over here you've got music. So it breaks up the eye and the background naturally. All right, I think this is probably hot enough, so we're going to put this on and we're going to move on to the next day. Okay, look, gun. Oh, there it comes. And down she goes. Just like that. And there you have it. I mean, cute, right? And again, you got the dictionary page, something a little dark that ties in with the dark of the boat and the postcard a little bit. And then back here, a little bit of color. So love how these turn out. These are a great scrap buster and they're a great mass make. I would sit down and scrap bust with these because these are great to have on hand, and you just fumble through them until you find a background that goes with whatever you're working on, and then you decorate it up and you stick it in a journal. These are great. I would mass make these. So on my notes, we're going to put a little M next to day 51, and then we're going to move on. And day 52 is, they were called, let's see, quadruple pocket page wrap. Oh, yeah. If any of you remember, I cut these apart, okay? Basically, they were meant to go, if this is my page, they were meant to fold open, so they would fold on a hinge. And it was 2 pieces of paper. So it was a base piece and then a piece cut smaller so that you had tucks. You had a tuck here and a tuck here. And then you fold it around a page. So you'd have one on the back and one on the front, like that. And you glue them down as tucks. So you'd have a tuck and then a tuck. And then I'm not really sure. Oh, well, and then you'd have a tuck and then a tuck. So quadruple tucks. But that's what those were. And they would probably work really, really well if you made them out of paper. I, on the other hand, made them out of cardstock and they tended to buckle. So if you're, it's lightweight cardstock too. This is not heavy cardstock. This is, this is a pad from, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but it's one or the other. And I think these are 6x6 sheets. So this is a 6x6 pad. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway. And I cut them apart because I didn't want them together like that. And what I'll end up doing is sealing this. This has got a belly band on it. I decorated this one. I still have to seal that or whatever, depending on how I put this in a book. And it's, now, as you can see, I cut these apart. So obviously I would not use these as I made them. If you used paper to make this, I could see it being a good project. Fold over your edges to reinforce your pocket where you're pulling stuff in and out of, and then just make it out of paper. I could see that being a good project. So that would probably be more of a as I go kind of a thing where I'm looking for something to put on the page. I am finding that every single time I let this pen sit for any period of time, it dries out. Okay, so what I'm finding is I don't like things that wrap around the outside edge of the page all the time because sometimes they stick out. I can't get them to be flush or whatever. Okay, the next thing was paper clip in flippy pads. Okay, so you put a paper clip up here under your, so if you make a flippy pad, right? I stapled a bunch of dyed paper together. I hot glued it into here, and then I have this to fold over. Well, you put a paper clip in underneath there. Now, this particular paper clip I have not glued on. I have made a bunch of these. Some of them are glued. This one's glued and decorated. Okay, ready to go. This one is glued and decorated. This one was made out of a postcard that I decorated up. And it's got some paper back here, and you just got a flippy pad and a paper clip on here so you can clip it into a journal. This one is glued. I tied a little piece of ribbon on here and decorated up the front. And it's got journaling space, flippy pad. This one is also glued. I say that like... this one has not been decorated, and this is not cardstock. This is just a piece of paper. Okay. This one is not glued. Okay. I glued in but I have not glued down the flap because I have not, so that I haven't glued down the paper clip. And the reason I've done that, this one's glued. This one's glued. I decorated it. Button. This one's glued, and I also decorated this. Now, I really liked this paper, so I just decorated it down here. I mean, it doesn't have to have... Okay. The reason for the not gluing in the paper clips, just making the flippy pad and leaving this open, is if I put this paper clip on this side, I have to clip it into this side of my book unless I turn it over, and then I can clip it into the other side of the book, I guess. But if I want it, depending on where I want it in my book, I can move the paper clip until I'm ready to put it in. Also, I like gluing them in with a space so that I can hang something off of there, like a dangle or a ribbon or something, like a tag, so that you can see the flippy pad wherever you put it. And it can act like a bookmark, and you can make notes or, whatever like that. So I have a couple of these. I think I was going to try and decorate this one with you because I have stuff. Anyway, so that's paperclip flippy pads. Hold on a second. Where were we? Paperclip flippy pad. This was day 53. I would absolutely mass make these. You know me, guys. Anything scrappy like this that you can clip in or add to a journal, I like them. I would let me rephrase that. I would at the very least mass make these out of scraps of paper that I have in my drawer up there. As far as the cardstock, it would be one of those things where I would want the flippy pad and be able to add it to a piece of the cardstock that I have on the project I'm working on. So I would partially mass make these. I don't know. I think that they would be a mass make and an as needed. But we're going to put them down as a mass make. Okay. Now, the next one was, nope, not that, was a Joey DeFee pocket is what Tina called it. Basically, this is a tube pocket. I don't know. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's a tube. You fold a piece of paper into thirds, and you get it into a tube. Well, no, not into thirds. You fold a piece of paper. Yeah, not into thirds. You fold a lip on a piece of paper so that you get a gusset. And then you fold it over and you glue it down and you've got a tube, and then you fold the bottom of the tube up. Okay, and then I punched here. So you've got a pocket here, and you've got a pocket here. And then you've got a pocket in this one. I glued it down so that you have a pocket there. Okay. And then, of course, if you want, you can glue it down as a tuck or a pocket or, whatever. So these are really simple. It's just a folded piece of paper. And here you can see I went wild with the buttons, but it's just a folded piece of paper. There's nothing hard about this one. If you like a stacked pockets like this, I think this one also has a side pocket, but it's on the other side. If you like stacked pockets like this, then go check out this is day 54. So go check out day 54, and it shows you exactly how to make this. And I'm telling you, when you see how easy it is, I mean, it's simple. These take 2 seconds. That's an exaggeration, but they are quick. All right. So as far as whether I would mass make these, I'm going to go with no. Not because I don't like them. They're fine. I just don't think that I would sit and mass make these. I think this is one of those things where I would say that I need something on a page. I've got some leftover paper. I'll make this pocket. And I would stick it in there to put some stuff in. I think this would be an as needed project. I don't think this would be a mass make project. So I'm going to put this in the as needed category. I do like them. I just don't think I would mass make them. As I said, guys, I lean more into when I'm making a project as I make the project, filling it up. So it's harder for me now to look at something and say, go into my ephemera boxes and pull a bunch of stuff out, because a bunch of the stuff, like I made this, I don't necessarily have a journal that I'm working on that this goes with. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of hard. So I like making things that go with what I'm working on. Okay. When we were doing the clean out and I was going through my ephemera and cleaning out drawers, we took some of these apart. You remember these? I cut them in the middle and then I glued this down. And then I cut this in the middle and I notched it up here and I glued that up as a pocket. Okay. And we cut these apart. So this is those wallets. This is what this looks like. And then you turn the string around and you close it. Okay. You could clip this in, you could glue this in, you can, however you want to add it to your book. And it's got a pocket on this side and a pocket on this side. And then I stuck a little pocket here. There's nothing wrong with these. The ones that I made with lightweight cardstock. They buckle a lot because there's a lot of folding involved. So there's a fold, this fold here and here that overlaps when you fold it this way. And then there's this flap here, which is another piece of cardstock that got added in here. And then on top of folding it this way, you're folding it that way, which tends to cause the center to buckle, assuming you're using cardstock. And all of that may be lessened by letting each stage dry really well. But they feel bulky to me. I don't like the way they buckle up. So I would probably not use these at all. I did like them after I cut them apart. It's called a little wallet pocket booklet. So it's supposed to go this way. That's why it's a wallet. Like I said, this is not a me. I would probably not make these. So we're going to put that here. Plus, I have found out, I got to figure out the brad thing, because I have found out that when you're doing these policy closures and you have brads in your book, they make dents on pages that are over top of them. Okay, next one. Here's another quick pocket. Let's see what these quick pockets are. Oh, so this is a one sheet quick pocket. This is glued here and folded over from here. So I guess I cut off a piece and this got folded over and glued down, and then this gets folded down. And you see how tattered and broken away from its core that is? I don't know why that's like that, but I will say this, that's getting weak. That will tear away eventually. So yeah. Here's another one. This is basically this is folded over this way, and then you get the pocket that way, or you can turn it this way and do the pocket that way. This is basically a piece of paper that you fold into quarters and cut one of the quarters out of, and then you have a pocket with a flap on the front. And this one I decorated up with some houses, little house stickers and hello and a butterfly, and then you flip it out and you've got, and you can even journaling space up top. On some of these, you'd have to add journaling space. On this one, that's just coffee dyed paper. You could do that. On this one, you could probably write on there. It's light enough. It's up to you. You might want to put some coffee dyed paper on there. Maybe don't cover up the whole thing if you want the decoration. But anyway, so that's what these are. They were just quick pockets. would I make these? These would be, I don't know. I would make them, but they would probably be as needed. I don't know that I would sit and mass make these. So these would be an as needed project. And I'm keeping track because I told you guys at the end we're going to do something with all of this information that I'm gathering. I'm just going to leave this down here. Okay, book page fold up pockets. Okay, this is, oh, I have a whole bunch of these here. This is basically, that's not one. This is, you take book pages and you fold them up, but you take 2 book pages and you see how this, flip it over, this one's upside down. My phone just made a noise. That was my phone saying hi. This one's upside down. And the reason you do that is so that when you fold the bottom up to be a pocket, your pocket's right side up. Okay. I like things on book page. I think book page is a great background. Struggling with the whole idea of making sure that you use book page that's, clean, nothing in it that you wouldn't want that might offend somebody, all that kind of stuff. Proofreading for junk journaling is kind of my Achilles heel, I suppose. This came from a really old textbook. Again, right side up, upside down. So when I fold this up, that's right side up. And gluing 2 pieces of paper together, of course, makes your pocket more, durable, stronger. I don't know about this. I think I got this. It actually feels like modern, like how they make modern book page feel, almost like construction paper, is what it reminds me of. But I think this book is from like the 50s-ish, so probably safe. This I did sideways, so it didn't really matter which way I did the page. This is from a textbook, and I folded the page in half. I actually happen to have a piece of the textbook sitting here. So I would just fold the textbook page in half and then fold up the bottom like that. And voila, pocket. So that's what I did with this one. This was just me experimenting with different ways to do it. Here I did a piece of music paper from a hymnal and a piece of book page so that I had the music at the top, and then when I fold this up, I've got the words at the bottom and they're different. This one was just hymnal and hymnal. So yeah, these are just book page pockets. And then if you decorate one up, looks like that. As far as mass making these is concerned, I mean, when I'm looking for things to do with book page, especially when I have book page that I have torn out of books to make altered books, and the book that I've torn it out of is safe to use, I do like book page as background and decoration. So I could see myself sitting down with a whole bunch of book page and making some of these because they're very simple pockets. So yeah, I could mass make these with book page. We're going to mark that as a mass make. Okay, the next one is something that I personally do not think I would use. As cute as this is an envelope. You can see it's a junk mail envelope. Okay, and basically you cut it in half. There's the flap. And you open it up. You snip. So this was folded up like this. You snip it and then you fold these down, right, at an angle to make your collar. And then you just decorate everything. So I decorated this with pieces of scrapbook paper. If you can see, I folded them down in there and I glued them on right in there. I glued paper down in the envelope. And then I don't think I would make these again. I mean, I don't know. I have them marked as a no, but I don't necessarily know that they're a total no. If I had the right project and I thought that a collar pocket would look really cute, I would make it. But this would definitely be a project specific make. So that's my thought on that, just because of what it is. That would be journal specific. Okay. Quick and easy pockets. These ones. Oh, yes, I remember these. Love these. Wait, I clipped a bunch of them together. Okay, these are these little folded pockets like this. Right? They make 3 little pockets. This back one can be nice and wide if you don't glue down the top or the side. Okay. My favorite thing to do with these, and I didn't do it with this one, although this is the one I decorated. And back here, I put a pocket. You get an extra flap when you make these. There's an extra flap of paper. So my favorite thing to do with that extra flap is to make it a paper clip. So instead of making that a pocket back there, and you could still make it a pocket back there. I mean, we did do paperclip pockets that had the paperclip inside the pocket with just a piece of cardstock glued over it. So you could do that. It could be a pocket and a paperclip. But basically all I did was put the paperclip on the extra piece of paper and then flip the extra piece of paper over and glue it down to the back of the pocket. And then you can clip this into your journal wherever you want. I did it with that one. I did it with this one. You do need a square piece of paper. I would sit and mass make these just because I think they're cute. I love these. I think they're adorable. I don't use them very often, but I do think they're fun. I don't know. I can't explain it to you, but I like them. So, this one's a clip. I did a clip. I do like making the paper clips stick up more so that you can tie something in there. Now it is a pocket, so presumably whatever you stick in the pocket will possibly block whatever decoration you have on the paper clip. But I do like leaving myself that option. I didn't on this one was the reason I mentioned it. So my favorite thing to do would be to put a paper clip in the back. These are a lot of fun. Like I said, I would sit and mass make these just because I think they're cute and they're fun. And I mean, you end up with tons of, you end up with tons of scrapbook paper, right? Is this one bigger? This one is bigger. I don't know what size. This was a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I cut it probably to I'm going to guess I cut that to a 9-inch square. Okay, because this was an 8-inch piece. All right. And this was a 6-inch piece. And about half of that is what's left here. So I'm going to guess this is 8, that's 9, this is 6. Okay, so 6 by 6 pads, 8 by 8 pads, 12 by 12 pads, cut any size you want. So this is definitely something you could use scraps on because you can make these pockets as big or as small as you want. I don't know that I would go smaller than 6 by 6, but you could give it a shot with a 4 by 4 maybe. I think 3 by 3 is going to be pushing it, but to each his own. Lots of people like mini, tiny things like that. So that would be a mass make. I would do that. My pen again, guys. These pens, this pen drives me crazy. Okay. Last but not least, man, this one took a while because we did all that crafting in the beginning. Look at these. Are they not adorable? My only issue with these, I think they're cute. They look like little faux envelopes. The flap is the flap. I would love for this to be hidden journaling space. I just am not real sure. I'm not completely sure how to do it, especially if you cut your flap to be a curved shape of some sort, which I did with both of these. I folded it in half and cut the flap to be a shape. I did make some where I used envelopes from these kinds of cards. They came with decorative envelopes. So the flap on the envelope was decorative, and I just used an actual envelope flap. But if you could do some sort of fold up journaling space in there, or I guess you could just cover this with coffee dyed paper, or glue the end down and make it so that you can tuck something across there. I don't know, but it's a faux envelope pocket. So you glue it down on your page and then you tuck something in the back. I think they're really cute. I guess it's, a great way to decorate a pocket, because we're always trying to decorate the pockets, right? So, why not an envelope flap? I think they're cute. Like I said, I would probably coffee dye this or ink it or whatever so that you could write a note or something back there. But like a little hidden note to yourself. Mass make. Would I mass make these? This required you to sit down with book pages and scraps and collage. Now, that's not to say that's how you have to make them, but that's how these were made, both of these. So you spent and if you go back and look, this was day 60. Day 60 has a part 1 and a part 2. In part 1, we collaged book page. In part 2, we made envelopes. We made pockets. So if you want them to turn out looking like this, the collaging is part of the project. Would I sit down and collage book page with scraps? Sure. I like collaging stuff like this. I'm learning that you need to make everything kind of match. If you want your collages to turn out to be something that you can actually use. Guys, I've been through it, let me tell you. Okay, so these it's not really a make as needed project because of the collaging, although, having said that, if you are using lots of paper thin paper, so scrapbook paper, not scrapbook cardstock, I suppose you could do it with cardstock, but I feel like you would want all your paper weights to be similar if you're going to do the collaging part. You could sit and take the leftover scraps from a project that you are working on, tear them up, and make collage pieces of paper, and then use those collage pieces of paper as journaling cards and pockets. So they could be an as needed, but they can also be a mass make with scraps that you already have. I'm going to write them down as a mass make. I like them. I think they're cute. I'm not going to write anything with this pen. This pen is driving me crazy. I should just do pencil. And I don't have to worry about the ink. Okay, guys. That was another 10. We went through. We made it. Everything's good. It looks like one I probably wouldn't make again. 1, 2, 3 as needed. 1 very, very journal specific, and the rest of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are mass makes. So that's where we are on 51 through 60. I hope you're liking this look back and my thoughts on, now that I've done it, would I use it? Anyway, go through your stash and see what you like and what you don't. Try new things. Because the only way we know is if we try it. And I will see you guys when we go through, what do we got? 61 through 70. We're almost to the end. And I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.